So I haven't hit 3 sets of an exercise in well over a year now, but I'd still consider myself pretty lean and jacked. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the method that I use and I use with some of my coaching clients, helping them go from skinny fat to lean, jacked and back in shape by spending less time in the gym, less time spinning their wheels and basically being a bit of a busy idiot. And by implementing these particular methods, basically doubling their gains in the gym, saving themselves twice the time, and ultimately seeing those changes in the mirror that they really wanted to see in months instead of years. So back in my early 20s, I was guilty of doing an absolute shit ton of volume on chest flies, chest press, benching, deadlifts, rows. I was one of those gym bros who would hit like chest and arm day, shoulder day, back day, leg day. Every single exercise is like 5 or 6 sets, feeling like I needed to be in the gym for 2 hours for it to be effective, and pushing myself to the point where I was so fucking sore. Thank God that I only hit that muscle group once a week, because I needed an entire 3, 4, 5, 6 days to recover. The thing is, it just felt like a lot of effort, and it just felt like I was being busy but not really seeing the changes in the mirror that I wanted to see. And it'll be harder and harder to stick to consistently as the weeks went on, because you're just so fucking sore all the time, and it just required so many hours in the gym, and you'd struggle to keep the motivation and the willpower to go to the gym, you know, 5 or 6 days a week. It was a little bit easier back then because I was in my early 20s. I had a lot more free time. I don't have the same sort of responsibilities and time restrictions and, you know, business hours and everything that I do have now. But even back then it was a hell of a grind, and I wasn't really seeing the changes that I wanted to see. I didn't really realize this at first, but I was falling trap to a little something that you might know, and it's a little thing that some people call junk volume. Junk volume is basically just when you do a completely unnecessary amount of sets and reps and exercises, and you're not really doing it for any other reason other than like you think you need to be. And as the years went on, the more I trained, the more I learned. And when I started to hit my late 20s, my early 30s, and I needed to be a lot more efficient and effective with my time, I started to learn for myself, and for most guys that I coach especially, less is more. So instead of trying to hit 5, 6 days a week in the gym, I reduced it to 3 or 4. And what I do now for myself is a little approach called low volume training, or as I like to call it, the 2-set shred. So instead of like 4, 5, 6 sets of an exercise, you just do 2. 2 working sets where you try and push yourself as much as physically possible. 2 working sets where you try and push yourself to, at, or even past the point of failure. A lot of guys fuck up because they're doing so many sets that the intensity goes down in those sets. They're not able to hit it very hard. You know, let's take like chest press, for example, on the dumbbells. Like they might hit 5 or 6 sets of 20 kilo dumbbells for like 8 to 10 reps. And yeah, you're getting a good pump on and everything, but you're just kind of going through the motions and it's just taking unnecessary extra time. But for that same guy, what you could do, if that was you, what you could do instead of 5 or 6 sets of 20 kilo dumbbells for 8, what if you just did 2 sets and you didn't have to save any energy for the next set? Just how far do you think you'd be able to push it? See, most guys, when they're actually tested properly and held accountable to pushing themselves to failure and physically failing on an exercise, they end up doing so many fucking more reps than they thought they could. In studies and tests on it, like guys have chosen a weight where they thought they would max out at like 8 to 10 reps and they ended up doing like 20, 25. Because you're just used to going through the motions, keeping the intensity high enough to feel like you've done something, but not high enough, so too low that you're not actually going to produce any sort of effective muscle stimulus. You're not really going to, you know, tear apart your muscle fibers and cause them to grow. That's ultimately why so many guys say stay stuck for months and years. They don't see their muscles grow in the mirror. They don't see themselves get any leaner or looking any better either. So with the 2-set shred, the low volume method, all you got to do is get in, smash the fuck out of 2 sets of that exercise, get out. I promise you, a typical workout where you might do 6, 7, 8 exercises, with this method, you probably will only last 3 or 4 and you'll feel pretty done. And you'll be done in half the time. This isn't the only method that you can use. I mean, obviously you can go the high volume method, but for a lot of guys, they don't really know their limits. They don't go anywhere near their limits. They don't really know what proper muscular failure actually looks like and feels like. Just go to the point where, oh, that's burning a bit, and then they stop. This is something that I advise you to test on yourself. Try out this low volume 2-set shred method. Anyway, so if you want a free program on this, I have one in the description below. It goes into a little bit more detail on exactly how to use this method throughout the 2 sets of an exercise. And it gives you a downloadable plan that you can follow along as well. 4-day push-pull split using the 2-set shred method that you can just go in the gym, you follow along, and I guarantee if you do it right, you probably won't go back to your old chest and arm workouts. Anyway, hope you found this useful. So if you want to get your hands on that plan, links in the description below. So leave a link if you want to jump on a call with me to learn a little bit more about my one-to-one coaching program, helping you go from skinny fat to lean, jacked and back in shape. If you're looking for that next level support and accountability and one-to-one tailored coaching. Like, subscribe, check out the stuff below. Talk to you later.